Emma Harris wasn't the kind of girl who caused ripples. She didn't laugh loud in the halls or raise her hand in class. She didn't post selfies or get tagged in group photos. If anything, Emma was the kind of girl people forgot was even there until they needed someone to target. She liked it that way, or at least that's what she told herself. It was safer in the background, where the light didn't burn and the eyes didn't judge. She moved through East Ridge High like a shadow, soft and quiet, hoping to reach graduation without leaving a trace. But shadows, no matter how still, cannot hide forever. That Friday afternoon had started like any other. The last bell rang. Students poured out of classrooms like a flood released, rushing for freedom. But Emma lingered. She had a habit of staying behind, walking slow, avoiding the rush. Her art teacher, Miss Perez, had let her work on a project after school, a self-portrait she wasn't ready to show anyone. She always painted behind closed doors, the brush giving her the only voice she trusted. When she finished cleaning up, the halls were nearly empty, except for faint echoes of footsteps and the sound of distant laughter. She didn't notice Kylie and her friends watching. Kylie was everything Emma wasn't: loud, flawless, adored. She had a laugh that could turn heads and a cruelty sharpened by privilege. She led her group like a queen surrounded by pawns: Mason, her jock boyfriend who flexed in every reflection, and two other girls whose names Emma never learned but whose giggles haunted locker-lined corridors. They caught Emma just outside room 209. "Hey, quiet mouse," Kylie had smirked, blocking the hallway. "You're not going to run, are you?" Emma froze. Her hands tightened around her sketchbook. Her heart beat so loud it echoed in her ears. She tried to step aside, but Mason's bulk closed the space. "What's in the sketchbook?" one of them jeered, snatching it from her. Emma's voice caught in her throat. She shook her head silently, trying to reach for it, but Mason shoved her backward right into the classroom. The door slammed shut behind her. Inside, the air was still. Dust floated in the warm sunlight cutting across the desks. It felt like time itself paused, then snapped. "Let's play makeover," Kylie said sweetly, holding up a roll of duct tape she'd pulled from the storage closet. Emma stumbled back, her throat trying to form words that wouldn't come. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She just trembled, frozen as the tape wrapped around her wrists and ankles, pinning her to a chair. Her heartbeat felt like a roar. She couldn't move. The laughter was the worst part: sharp, cruel, echoing off the walls like a weapon. Then came the markers. They were permanent. Emma knew that because she used the same kind in art class. They scrawled across her skin words she didn't want to read, symbols she didn't understand. Her cheeks, her arms, her legs. They drew on her as if she were a canvas, but not in the way she painted herself, with care and truth. This was mockery. This was ownership. "You should thank us," Kylie giggled. "Now someone might actually look at you." When they left, Emma stayed still for a long time. The classroom was dim now, the light golden and heavy with silence. Her skin itched with shame. Her eyes, wide with shock, refused to blink. She didn't cry. Not right away. She waited until she was completely alone. Then, the tears came, slow at first, then unstoppable. Somewhere outside, the world kept turning. Students went home. Teachers locked doors. But inside room 209, a girl sat bound to a chair, drenched in humiliation. And something inside her, something long buried, began to stir. It wasn't rage. It wasn't revenge. It was something quieter. Like a flame that had been starving for oxygen. Emma didn't know it yet, but this was the moment she would stop disappearing. This was the moment her story would begin. The janitor's name was Mr. Lewis. He had been sweeping near the science labs when he noticed the classroom door cracked open and the lights still on long after everyone had gone. Curiosity led him to room 209. What he found made him drop his broom with a loud clatter. There, in the flickering light of dusk, sat a girl tied to a chair, her skin covered in black marker, her eyes red-rimmed and haunted. Emma didn't flinch when the door creaked open. She was beyond fear now. What was there left to fear after being treated like a joke? Mr. Lewis didn't ask questions. He simply knelt beside her, his old hands shaking as he peeled away the duct tape. He handed her an old hoodie from the lost and found bin, gently helping her cover the marks on her arms. "Come on, sweetheart," he said softly. "Let's get you home." But Emma didn't go home. Not yet. She walked out of the school into the cool evening air, her backpack slung over her shoulder, her heart heavier than it had ever been. She didn't want her parents to see her like that. They already worried she was too quiet, too sensitive, too different. Instead, she sat alone at the town's small park, scrubbing at her skin with tissues and water from the fountain. Nothing worked. The ink had sunk in. By the time she made it home, it was nearly 10 p.m. Her mom asked why she was late. Emma said she stayed to paint. Her voice didn't crack. Her eyes didn't reveal the storm inside. But that night, in the silence of her bedroom, something changed. She took the markers they had used on her, still in her backpack, stolen in panic, and laid them on her desk. Then she pulled out a blank canvas and began to paint. Not with the delicate brushstrokes she was known for, but with harsh, bold, shaking lines. She painted herself exactly as she had been, bound to a chair, surrounded by laughter, stained in ink. And then, behind the broken girl in the painting, she added a flame. A small one. Flickering. But there. She didn't sleep that night. But for the first time, she didn't feel invisible. The next day at school, she wore long sleeves and walked with her head up. Every movement felt like fire on her skin, but she kept walking. People stared. Whispered. She ignored it all. By Wednesday, she had submitted the painting to Ms. Perez under the title, "The Day I Was Rewritten." When the school gallery unveiled it on Friday, everything changed. Students gathered around it in silence. The image struck them hard. Some recognized the scene, some didn't. But everyone felt it. Emma didn't say a word. She didn't have to. And then, on Monday, a video appeared online. It was Emma. Sitting in her bedroom, a soft light on her face. She looked straight into the camera. "My name is Emma," she began. "And I used to be invisible." She told her story not in detail, not naming names, but in emotion. She spoke of fear, of humiliation, of how it felt to be laughed at while tied to a chair like she didn't matter. And then she said something that would be shared over 1,000,000 times. "I'm not a canvas for anyone else's cruelty. I get to paint myself. And now, I choose bold colors." The internet listened. Messages poured in from strangers, some crying, some sharing their own stories, some thanking her for her strength. The video reached local news, then national platforms. Back at school, everything changed. Teachers started watching more closely. The administration held emergency assemblies. Counselors were made available to all students. The hallway laughter quieted. Kylie and Mason were summoned to the principal's office more times than anyone could count. They weren't expelled, but they were exposed. And in a way, that punishment cut deeper. But Emma didn't watch them. She didn't seek revenge. She joined the debate club. Started performing spoken word. Opened her own art blog called Marked But Rising. Each time she stood on a stage, her voice trembled less. Each time she picked up a brush, her lines grew bolder. She was becoming the girl she always hid inside. The girl who refused to disappear. If Emma's journey made you feel something deep inside, if you've ever felt small, silenced, or marked by someone else's cruelty, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this story with someone who needs strength right now. You never know how far a little courage can go. Speech balloon. And before we end, we have a special request. Please comment below, what's one thing someone said or did that made you feel seen? Your story might remind someone else they're not alone.